Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dia Direct, and we are going beyond the studio with none other than the sexy, the talented Joe. Now, ladies, I know you're very excited. We're all very excited that you're here.
Oh, thank you. That was a hell of an introduction too.
Oh, we're only getting
Appreciate it.
started.
Oh boy.
Absolutely.
Oh boy. What am I in for?
Because, you have a gift.
Well, thank you.
You have the gift of
Certainly.
voice, you have the gift of sexy.
All right. All right.
And so I know that when you perform, you know when you have your audience, right? You know when they're really feeling you, don't you?
I feel a connection. I feel that certain connection.
Right. And so, I've observed you over the years, and I feel like you've taken advantage of us women.
You think so?
I feel this way. I
Okay.
feel
I-
as if you get us all worked up and you tease us and then you leave us.
Okay.
Ladies, are you feeling me? So here's what's about to
But
happen.
I come back though.
Well, we always like seconds. So here we go. Here's our chance. Let's go on a verbal date with Joe.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
So, Joe,
Yes.
who are you really?
Who am I? As you asked that, I stand here and I'm like, wow, I'm a whole lot of different, men out here,
As
all
a
combined into one.
when you present yourself to women outside of being on the stage, who are you?
I would say I'm very thoughtful, passionate, considerate, and I'm a family guy, but I love to chill, I love to relax, I love to shop.
Mhm.
I love
You
to
have
travel.
a lot of style.
Thank you. I love to travel. Hanging out is not one of my strongest points. I don't like to drive. I'm not a big fan of driving.
So what
I
does
like
that
to be
mean?
driven.
So you like for your woman to drive you? You like her to be in charge?
Not at all. We get, not at all. I like to, because then I think that's double stress if she's driving. But
What are you trying to say?
We both have to sit in the back and chill.
I like that. That's not bad at all. Okay, so what I want to know is, what do you like to eat?
Oh wow, that's a good one. It's being that I'm here in Texas, I need some Pitmaster barbecue.
Do you go all the way in?
Oh, do I?
Do you eat with your fingers?
Oh, absolutely. That's the only way to do
It's
it.
the only way to do it.
So I'm from the South, originally Georgia, and I'm probably gonna get some of that rub to take back with me.
Do you cook?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So you go in.
I go in, barbecue, I grill, I do different styles of food, from Jamaican, like oxtails, to soul food, to anything.
Oh, that's good stuff. No, so here's the thing. When you go out on a date with a woman initially,
Yeah.
let's say you go out to eat. Do you like for a woman to eat pretty, or is the goal to see if she can just be real folks and just go all the way in? Let's say with some barbecue.
Well, it's fun when you could be around someone who's regular, who's real, someone who's not too worried about their outfit, or even though at the same time be conscious of how you're eating. I don't want a messy girl around me. But at the same time, I want you to let your hair down. I want you to I want to feel comfortable around you.
So since we're on our verbal date, describe for me the perfect date.
The perfect date. If I don't answer this right, I'm gonna look real stupid.
No, it's just real. I mean, for the moment.
The perfect date.
It can change.
The perfect date, yeah, that certainly changes. But the perfect date, I think, is someone. It's gonna sound corny, and it doesn't have to be all about sex. And I think that's a lot of people think I'm gonna go. Oh, yeah, it's got to end with sex. No, it doesn't have to end with sex. I prefer it not to end with sex. I think it's more romantic, and I think it's a little bit deeper. When you can just have a real bond, a real connection from the door. I mean, I want to know that I'm going to get it, but I don't necessarily have to have it on the first night.
Because you want something to look forward to. You enjoy the chase.
I think it's fun. When it comes that easy, it's not as fun.
So then, because of the industry that you're in, how can you tell when a woman is really about you as opposed to somebody who's a groupie and they're just caught up with who they think you are?
Good question. It really takes a lot of time. I mean, you really can't tell, and that's with anybody. You don't have to be a star to really to run into a person that's not really down for you for who you really are. I mean, you could be a guy who's very, very wealthy and don't have a fame to it. That happens to those guys probably much more than it happens to us. But you really have to give it time to really see if they're going to be around. Hopefully it's not a testing time where you have to lose everything for them to be there. But you want to. It's going to take some time. You never can tell.
How have you, from when you, let's say you started in this industry till now, how have you changed as a man?
Certainly, the growth, maturity, is so important. You know, once you have done so much in the game, in this music industry, and meeting different people, and I think listening has been one of my one of the things that I learned the most. Just taking the time to really listen and just really focus at everything that comes to me. Less talking, really a lot more listening, and just getting involved when it comes into to conversation, because I learn so much with everybody I talk to. I mean, everybody I meet. It's just a learning curve for me, and that's pretty much it. You know, very simple lifestyle.
What are you
Very
hoping
easy.
for?
That the legacy be, you know, I'm striving now to build a legacy with owning my own label. Just want to make music that still represents what it was back in the day. I want to be remembered as one of those guys that's sort of legendary, that did the music that, because I come from a background that is all gospel, and it's who I am. I mean, it really is who I am. And it's funny, I ran into someone at one of the labels that I deal with, and they thought me being on stage, or any of us artists being on stage, was just all about ego. And it's a very difficult thing to perform, or even just do an interview, you know, with a lot of different people listening, because judgment is so high.
Right.
And especially being on stage and trying to captivate an audience, connect with them. I mean, I wouldn't call it work, but it's certainly a challenge. And to look at it as egotistical is maybe she's run into, or he's run into some people like that, but it's certainly a real deal, and it takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot.
Well, I hope this interview doesn't take a lot out of
Not
you.
at all.
I'm hoping to,
Not at all.
To encourage, to engage with
Well,
you.
you're doing your thing.
So, thank you. Because we're on a date, so we have to have give and take.
Of course,
you understand?
of course,
Are you enjoying our
absolutely.
date so far? This has been good for me. Now, you have Fantasia on your album.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
mentioned, growing up in the church. Are you a PK?
I'm a PK.
Right. And so, with that in mind, what I'm noticing as a trend, but maybe it's not even a trend, maybe it's just a time where people are able to be more authentic. As believers, a lot of times there's that whole element of you have to just do things one way. And I'm noticing, whether it's with Fantasia or Chrisette Michelle, both who I recently interviewed, there's this whole energy of people are finally getting comfortable with doing their music, doing their gift, but still expressing their love for God. So I want to know from you, because it is important to be able to be all of you, as you talked about earlier. As a man, there are many facets of Joe, and we're enjoying what we're experiencing so far. Thank you very much. Yes, so I'm trying to keep it spiritual.
Sidebar.
Yes, so we're being very spiritual about this thing. How is that manifesting in your life right now, where you're able to express your love and relationship, or your experience with God, and still give the people what they want?
Well, I credit that to everything that I do, just in relationships that I build, the music that I make, the respect that I try to keep in it as well, because I know, my background is anything I do sort of shines on them as well. But at the same time, being spiritual and being connected, that has certainly got me where I am. It's going to continue to just guide me, and I'm never going to lose that. That's just something that I'm built on. That spirituality, believing that God always going to have my back, regardless of what circumstances that come. So I'm really very, very spiritual when it comes to that.
But did you ever feel like, because of your love for R&B music, especially earlier on, that somehow that was compromised, or other people felt like it was compromised and judged you?
I didn't think so, because I don't think I got too overly involved in the religious factor. I didn't come out on, hey, preaching about God, and even though I don't have no problem with it, but and I feel if you do gospel music, it's a certain lifestyle you also got to live. You have to represent, not just sing about it, but kind of be about it. And I sort of stayed away from that because, hey, man, that's a tough ride to take. I'm sure God is going to lead me at some point in whatever direction He wants to lead me in. But I felt like, He wasn't ready for me to go that route. To do a gospel record. Maybe it's bigger for me to go this route.
Well, I don't want you to be cheating on your lady, So I have to ask,
Not at all. Bad thing.
For all the women, are you in a relationship? We want to know what's going on in your world.
Single.
Now, what does single mean?
Single.
We have to define single.
Well,
Like, in other words, does she think she's in a relationship with you? but you let her know that you're still seeing other people?
that could happen. That can happen. That has happened. But I don't like to lead people on. I don't like to lead them on because I know the emotional thing is. I've been there. I've had my heart broken, and that's a horrible feeling. And I wouldn't want to put someone waste their time. I don't want them looking at like I wasted their time, or not being truthful and straightforward. And you just mentioned, even if you are truthful and straightforward, and they still get it, it's almost
Expectations.
it's almost still wrong, huh?
Let me just tell you something. I'm going to give you my tip, and then you can give us your tip, all right? Here's the tip if you don't want a woman to trip out on you. You cannot engage in certain ways and more than one time on a consistent basis and not expect her to have expectations. That just doesn't work. Now he's putting the shades back on. You see what's going on here, right, ladies? This is a real date. Now that's my tip.
Yeah, that's
to you about women. You cannot consistently engage in certain ways, and just have certain kinds of behaviors on a consistent basis, making us feel like we're special, and then say, "Oh, I thought we were just friends." That's not gonna work. So now, what's your tip for the men, for us?
I don't necessarily have a tip. I just got a response to that.
Okay.
So one time wouldn't do it as well? Once wouldn't just automatically take you there?
Well, that's the point. There's some things that if you decide that you like it, like I really like pizza, I can say I'm going to have one piece.
Yeah, but if it's bad for you?
However, all things in moderation. But sometimes you don't realize, sometimes everybody doesn't have self-control.
No.
Sometimes you just like what you like.
Right.
And if it's good to you, we all know things that are good to you aren't always good for you. So since we're not initially psychologists or dietitians, a lot of times you don't recognize that you've gone too far until it's too late.
So basically restrain from, if you don't want to continue a long life-term partnership, refrain from even going on a fun physical route.
Don't go down that route. Well, you know what this is not, I shouldn't be saying this, and ladies are going to get mad, but this is true. It's every blue moon. You got to.
But I think it could go both. But it goes both ways, though, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It goes both ways because a woman can put it on a guy just as crazy, right?
Absolutely.
And just have his mind all tripping and thinking that you're his girl and
right. So here's what we're going to do. Since we can't see you all the time, we're going to play your music. We're going to have our intimate moments with Joe. And we can think whatever we want to think.
Think good.
Because you like to play games with us.
No, not at all.
And so as you can see, ladies, I'm going to end this the way I started. He likes to tease. This is a game with this guy.
This was a setup. This was a setup.
No, this was good. And tell us the name of the new
album, Double Back, Evolution of R&B.
So you see what I just did, right?
Yeah.
I double backed on him.
Certainly
he didn't even see me coming. That's how we do. Beyond the studio.
I love it.
No, it's good stuff. I'm looking forward to listening to the album more. I've already started. There's some really good tracks up there, and I appreciate you allowing us to go beyond the studio.
It's my pleasure.
We went on a date with Joe. You see, he took his shades back off.
See, next time, I'll be more comfortable because as you know, if you can't do it the first time, it's always risky. But once you get past the first route, second time should be good.
This was a verbal
second date.
That's right. There's a verbal date.
You can't give it all on the first date.
Okay, so you gonna
get
come
familiar.
back?
Certainly.
I get a second
gotta
date?
do this date again.
Here we go.
Yeah, because we didn't finish.
All right. See y'all later. I'm your girl, Dia Direct. This is Joe. We have gone beyond the studio.
Bong.